All right, welcome back to the show. We got a fantastic one for you today. We're slow roasting up some filet mignon. We're going to show you how to get this trimmed up, smoked up. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. So this is beef tenderloin. Code name filet mignon, Philly, Chateaubriand. Filet mignon. So the first thing I'm going to do, if you look at this piece, it comes in the package like this, but you gotta clean it up a lot. Butchers get paid way too much money to clean this up. I'm gonna show you how to clean this up. So the first thing we're gonna do, this end here that's all straggly, cut it off. Put it to the side. We can kebab those, cut them down. They're nice pieces. We're gonna slow roast those too. They'll be some of the first pieces that come off this roast. All right, let's get the rest of this onto here. Start removing some of this silver skin so we can see where we're at. It's got a thick piece on top. I've got my hands underneath it like that. Let's start cutting some of this out of here. Now, when you buy this in the store, you buy a little medallion of this, it's very expensive. Why? I don't know. I find it's one of the easiest pizza meats to cut. And I see a lot of people that look at cuts. The two difficult cuts of meat for most people to cook are this and the cheapest meat. So the most expensive ones and the cheapest. The most expensive ones kind of cook quickly. They take no time to cook like this piece, and you can dry it right out. Not exactly my favorite cut, but we're showing you how to get this done today. I would take a beef rib over this any day. I feel they got more flavor, more bite. This piece of meat, you'll usually see it wrapped in bacon, and if you have to pay all that money to get some flavor out of it, maybe you shouldn't be buying it. So this one was on sale, and the only reason why I took it, our local supermarket, they marked it down accidentally and put the wrong price on it, and it was the only one in the aisle, so I picked it up and took it. One of the newer meat men saw it, said it was the wrong price. He was going to go back and change the price to the higher price. I said, that's not going to work. We'll get Mr. Manager over here and we'll see what's going to happen. And it didn't happen. So that was that. The piece of meat came home with me. And even then, with the wrong price, I still paid $12 a pound. And I don't like doing that. All right. So now we cleared the whole top of it. You can see the whole top. And now we're going to start getting down in some of this silver. And this is why they call it silver skin. So I'm going to keep my knife close to the top of the silver skin. And I'm going to cut off as much as the skin as I can possibly without cutting the meat. Just like you would do beef bones if you cook a nose. Get that strip out of there. And that's what you're doing. You want to take your time and just get all that silver skin out of there. And believe me, you'll pay a lot more for this little simple job if it's already done for you, sitting in a case, waiting for you to come by and pick it up. So, I'm not trying to pay 3 times the price for a piece of meat that happens to be not my favorite cut of meat. I think it's overrated. And back in the days, in the 70s, this was very inexpensive. Most meats were. And most people bragged about it then. And today, most people don't even know what it is. So it goes to show you how much times have changed. They might recognize it on a fancy menu, but sitting on a supermarket shelf, they'd have no idea what it was. So spend your money wisely, folks. And get the maximum out of your dollar you can possibly get. I don't go out to dinner. I cook at the house. I know what's going into my food. I know what my family's getting. And that's the way I like to keep it. Now, some of this fat that's on here, I'm actually going to leave it. And I'm going to cook it on the roast because it's good fat. And I'm not going to pull it all off of there because this roast, this piece of meat is very, very lean. And you can dry this out in 2 seconds. That's why most people wrap it with bacon. But for most, if you're going to buy an expensive cut of meat and wrap it with bacon, go buy pork belly. All right, let's get that down in here. Now, a lot of people like this cut of meat because you don't have to cook it down. You can pretty much put it on the grill. If you cut it in steaks this way and mignon it and just do it in pieces that you usually see at a restaurant, it can cook basically in, depending on how thick you make it, it can cook in anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes. So, depending how thick it is. And this is why most restaurant owners like to cook stuff like this. It's fast, it's easy. Put a piece of meat like this in your restaurant and leave it on your menu. And one little piece is gonna cost a lot of money. And you got a table for 2 after a couple of drinks and a couple of appetizers and dessert. You got a $300 bill sitting in front of you. And that's not me. I am not doing that. $300 can feed my family for months. So we're not looking to do that. We're just showing you guys how to get this done. And if you are gonna go out and buy an expensive meat like this, you wanna know how to cut it up. And you wanna know that you're getting the most bang for your buck. So here's all the fat here. And we're gonna just keep cutting on this and trimming and cutting and trimming until it's pretty much perfect. All right, so you can see I'm in here now. All this is not gonna make a difference. We're gonna tie it up. This big piece on the end right here, what I can do with this is I can tuck it underneath because this end is thin. But what I'll do is just leave it intact. And I'm gonna leave this fat on here and I'm gonna wrap it right in there because who am I impressing? I'm gonna show you guys how to do this. It's still gonna look beautiful. And it's still gonna cut good when that fat renders down. And most restaurant owners will cut this down to nothing and cut every piece of fat off of here. And it's ridiculous. It's already a dry piece of meat as it is. And then you're gonna make it more dry by cutting the end pieces off. And this is a good piece right here. Most restaurant owners will cut that right off because it doesn't look appealing to the eye. So this, we're gonna roll it up just like this and get all that in there. That's how that's gonna look. So I'm gonna get the cut on here and we'll see you right back here after it's all nice and trimmed up. All right, so we got this piece of meat all nice and trimmed up, wrapped up. We tied it, and we want to keep the form while we're cooking it. So this is why you want to give it a piece of string around it. And this is the end that we showed you. This is the end of the Philly that was all shredded. So I took it and made a little, just a tiny little Philly with it. And we can take this off the grill, and half the time that this is ready, and somebody will have a nice little piece of meat there. And all this will glue together while it cooks. This is the big piece. I left a lot of this nice fat in here. Most people will cut all that fat off, and I'm leaving as much fat as I can in here for all that flavor. For a piece of meat that doesn't have a lot of fat, this is the leanest piece of the cow. We're not going to salt it, and we're going to salt it right before it hits the grill. What we will do, a good douse of olive oil to rub it in. Get it under front and back on the tray. And we're going to leave it on the same tray. There's lots of oil on here, so just, that's going to get the underneath. And I'm going to flip this over for you because I want you to see all the nice fat that's on the bottom of here. So this is what, if I was a restaurant owner, this is what I want you to see. A nice, beautiful piece of filet mignon. And cut, put on your plate. And if you look at this side, look at all that fat. I left it on. If you mignon this, and you cut all that fat out, that's flavor. So why are you cutting that out? So we turn it back around. Now it looks perfect. And when it cooks, all that fat is going to melt down in there. And that's what you want. All right, let's roll this little piece around. Get it oiled up. Black pepper. I'm only going to put it on the top side because I might put the bottom side last minute in the fire to crisp up any fat that's left over on the bottom of this. So just a little bit of pepper. Just like that. And that's it. A little bit more. And she's ready to get salted and go out on the cooker. And we'll see you back here in just a little bit. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. We're going to show you a quick gravy. This is a Marsala mushroom gravy with bacon. So we're going to need some mushrooms, sweet Marsala, flour, onions, bacon, olive oil, and chicken broth. Let's get this stove lit. Let's get our pot onto the stove. The first thing we're going to do is get a little olive oil inside. Now, there's bacon going in here, but this is going to start off the bacon. And you always want to start off with oil. I'm putting a little bit more oil in here because we're going to make a roux out of the bacon grease. In with our bacon we go. All right. Now that we have that, get a little stir. And we're going to let that start to render down. Just like that. And we're going to render this down till all the grease comes out of it. Okay, so our bacon is rendering down nicely. And that's what you want. You want all of that fat to come out of here. And once the fat comes out of here, we're going to remove this bacon, remove the oil, and the bacon grease is going to go inside our flour to make our roux. And it's going to be the first step of our gravy. So we're going to render this down some more. We're going to drain the bacon, and we'll meet you right back here. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. Okay, so our bacon is rendered down. This is our oil, and we're going to dump it right into our flour. Just like that. Back on the stove it goes. Now this oil is very hot, so what I'm going to do is start mixing it in with my flour. And this is what you want. You want to get a nice warm mixture going on. Just like that. Just going to put this underneath so I get an easier time. Alright, here we go. And this is what you're doing. You're making a nice roux for your gravy. Now, that's what you want. And it's a nice consistency. And we got the perfect roux here to start our gravy. Alright, I'm going to put this off to the side. Just like that. And now our gravy is ready. And that's gravy. Alright. So let's get this off to the side. Let's get our burner lit again. And with some olive oil, we're going to go into this pot. Still has a little bacon grease left in there, and it's a lot of flavor. And now, we're going to start sweating down our onions. Now, we don't want to fry them up, but we want to just sweat them down at a nice even low. This way we let the onions just slowly cook down. So we're going to go for a little even heat. Just like that. I'm going to drop the heat on here. And I'm going to go for a nice low onion sweat so we get all that flavor out of there. And at the same time, it's going to deglaze this pot up for us. And we can get all those bits off of there. That'll come down when this onion starts to sweat. And now that we got our onions in, put your bacon back in. Just like that. And now we're going to start to let our onions sweat down and our bacon. That's what you're looking for. We're going to get this sweated down, and we'll see you right back here. All right. So our onions are sweated down enough. And now, and with our mushrooms, we go. Now these mushrooms, they're going to have to cook down. All right. We're going to let that sweat down, and we'll meet you right back here. Don't go anywhere. All right, so we got our mushrooms reduced down. That's what you want. And now we could start making our gravy. We're going to take this off the heat, move it off to the side. We're going to get another pot on here. And we're going to start to make our roux. We're going to need some chicken stock or chicken broth. We're going in with a whole lot of it, the whole thing. Just like that. We're going to follow it up with some water, about the same amount. Up with the heat we go. We're going to bring this up to a simmer. Now we got our stock heated up. This is that roux that we made. So we're going to go in with some. And the reason why you want to do this first is because you're not going to know what consistency you're going to need. So I'm going to start with half of it. Just like that. I'm going to save some off to the side in case I need to tighten this up. I also save some of this liquid in case I need to loosen it up. Let's just give that a stir and a whisk. So just keep whisking, otherwise you're going to be stuck with lumps till we see where we're at. And you can see our gravy starting to tighten up. I think I'm going to make a little bit more of this. It's more roux. Now this is going to get real thick, and I'm going to have to loosen it with the water. But it's alright because I have more liquid for this to loosen it. We're not going to salt this because the bacon had all the salt in there. And we'll try it at the end. And again, I'm going to start to whisk. And I'm also going to use the marsala. And I'm going to start whisking. And I should have a very good consistency. Okay, so we're going to stop whisking that. We're going to bring our mushrooms back onto the scene. And there's liquid in there. And this is tight right now. And we're going to start to get this inside our gravy without using all that liquid that's at the bottom of this pot. Now, if I don't use all of this mixture we made, I could save it for my next gravy. But I think we're going to use most of it. Here we go. Now, we're going to bring our spoon in and mix it in. And we'll start to loosen this up with the liquid that's in the bottom of this pot. Just like that. Let's get more in. I'm going to reduce the heat. Just like that. All right, that's it. That's gravy. I might add a little salt. I might add some pepper. I might not add anything at all. We're gonna get our meat going, and we're gonna take this off the heat, and we'll come back to it later on. It'll be nice and hot. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. This is what we're rolling with today. Custom cooker. I'm gonna leave a link in the description to the video that we break this down in. I'm also making a relish today that we've used before. That's gonna be in the description too on the bottom of the video if you guys want to learn how to make that relish. All right, our fire's lit. We're getting it stabilized. And we're ready to put the meat on. I got a drip pan to the left here. That's going to allow any drippings to just drip in. This piece of meat's not going to offer many drippings. But anything that does drop, it's probably going to dry right up. But that's under there just to mainly keep my unit clean. All right, we're going to get our meat hanging, and we'll meet you right back here. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. Time to get this roast on. We're rocking in about 225. I got my probe in this because I want to know what temperature I'm at. This way, the less I open up that door, the better off I am. Let's get it onto a rack. I'm going to go nice and even with it. Right over a drip pan. And I take this little filet mignon and put that right in there. Just like that. We're going to take this up to a temperature of about 125, 130. And we're going to pull it. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, we're halfway into this cook. Internal temperature of this roast is saying 100 degrees. And here we are. Now what I did was I flipped this roast around. So this side now is closer to the heat. And that's the more rare side we want. And over here, that's for more well done side. That's for our well done guests going a little bit more well done. And that's why we do that. Our fire's going pretty easy. We're going to pull it in just a little bit. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. We're at 129 internal temp. Let's pull this. Look at that. That looks fantastic. I didn't baste it. I just let it go. All right, let's get this off of here. All right, we're here. We're on the chopping block. Let's show you what we got. Look at that roast. Let's get it onto the table, onto the chopping block. Now, this is the small piece. I pulled this off really early. So, that goes to show you, I don't waste anything. And that is a perfect piece of meat. And it didn't dry out. So let's get our strings off. And we're going to slice into this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice right down the middle. Gotta make sure you get all your strings off too. You don't want anybody choking. All right. Now what we're gonna do, put this over here, and we're gonna slice this right down the middle. Right in half. This rested 20 minutes. And here we go. Look at that. Perfectly cooked filet mignon. All right, let's show you what this looks like on a plate. Let's plate up. Now over here, we got a nice plate. We got mashed potatoes. Corn relish. Jalapeno cornbread. A nice vinaigrette sauce. Steak sauce for our meat. And then here we have that nice gravy that we made. So, let's get it plated up. First thing we're going to do is get our mashed potatoes on. Got some really nice creamy mashed potatoes. We're going to put a little dip in the middle there so they hold the gravy in. Got to get the hole in the middle to hold that gravy. We're going to go with a little corn relish. I'm going to put it right over here. Now, this goes great, the corn relish, with this meal. And if you serve this to your guest, it'll definitely be a hit and a crowd pleaser. Okay, so we got that. And we're going to follow up. Now, I like my cornbread deconstructed. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some cornbread onto the plate. And we're just going to break it up. Just like that. You can see the jalapenos inside. There's even corn in there. And we're just going to break it up because it goes nice with our corn relish. And you can make it the perfect bite. Just like that. And your guests will love it like that because it normally doesn't get deconstructed. Okay, the crispy parts on top, like that. Now we're ready for our steak. So we're gonna slice a couple of nice pieces. Get them on. Go there. Beautiful looking fillet. And I think we're going to go there. Look at that. That is beautiful. All right. Let's get our gravy on. I'm actually going to bring this plate over to the gravy. Get our nice gravy in there. And I'm putting the gravy on last because I want it to just spill down. All right. And just to top this off, we're gonna go in a little garnish. Gotta have the garnish. Go like that. And balsamic vinegar reduced down with basil. And that's going to be our steak sauce. And it looks like that. I'm just going to drizzle that right over our steak. Just like that. And that's a beautiful steak sauce. That's balsamic vinegar with butter. All right, and there it is. That's your plate. Is that beautiful or what? Let's give you a different angle. So you can see what that looks like. All right. We're gonna meet you right back here. But before we do that, I gotta get a little Pitmasters taste over here. Look at that. Smoked over cherry wood and chocolate. Beautiful. Just pulls right apart. Like butter. Excellent. We're gonna get situated. Meet you right back here. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right. And there it is. Beef tenderloin. Code name filet mignon or Chateaubriand. And if you like this video and more that are about to come, please hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that little bell, this way you get all the videos first. Again, like always, thank you for sharing with us. And until next time, gotta get that little Pitmasters taste again.